Everyone, this is JD Black. I don't know if he still carries the MGTOW label, but I used to be sub to him when I used to. I can't say I was MGTOW. There is no MGTOW. There is no going your own way from a misandry. So, but at any event, I used to listen to him quite a bit. And one of the guys brought him up and I forgot all about him. I said, oh my God. So I'm going to critique what JD Black says because this is the reason, one of the that I dropped the label, especially.
I've spoken about in my videos is about modern women being less feminine today. Now,
okay, now I remember JD Black talking like this. Why would a guy going his own way care whether women are feminine or not? And all feminine means is it appeals to him. A woman who appeals to him. That's all feminine means.
Now, I don't want to put you too much on the spot. Maybe.
That's fair. But yes, we'll go where we can.
Yeah. I have seen a lot of less feminine women. I've seen this since I was probably a teenager, maybe even before that. The feminizing of a lot of these women, and they think you attack them when you speak on that. Listen,
there is no unfeminizing. This is the female version of men are becoming soy boys. All that's happened is that women have dropped the facade. They've just, when women are quote unquote feminine, what they're doing is that they get a man to do what they want him to do by placating his ego. And now we've gotten to a point in history where women don't give a shit about placating a man's ego. The women are just coming up and telling men what they want.
I like to speak on the origins of people's behaviors. I like to get deep into it. I'm not just going to sit here and just talk about the issues and not get to the symptoms. We know that women who come from fatherless households are probably going to be put in a position where they're going to have to grow up fast because they're going to have a mother that doesn't care about them like that, or a mother who puts them in a position to be harmed in any way, shape, or form, and they don't have the protection, so they have to protect themselves. A lot of these girls end up running away from home. They
protect themselves, you see. So this guy, JD Black, who's, like I say, I don't know if he still carries the label. So that's what MGTOW, he's using a threat narrative that, let's face it, he didn't say it, but single mothers will date guys and men are just naturally dangerous to her daughters. So this is an anti-male narrative that JD Black is using.
They have to learn to be an adult at a young age. Young boys as well, because you got a lot of these young boys.
Yes.
They have no direction. They don't love women. They disrespect and mistreat women. What's funny is that none of those.
Wow. So these young boys without fathers, they don't love women and they disrespect women. Wow. JD Black is quite a turncoat to his own sex. Oh my God. For him to bring this kind of narrative as a man who calls himself MGTOW or used to call himself that, shows you what MGTOW have always been. They've always been tradcons. They've always been male hostile. Well, his real issue is that single mothers are single. That's what's bothering him.
Those guys are going the wrong way. None of those guys are red pill. They're the type of guys these women run away from, right? But then they want.
So being red pilled and going your own way, not dealing with women, is who the women would be attracted to. If they're running away from these guys, that would suggest they're running to what? The MGTOW guys?
I want to put the blame on the content creators who merely speak on the issues. That's what's interesting to me. Those are your baby daddies, those guys, all right? And those guys ain't trying to go overseas. They're not trying to, leave, not leave, but, not marry. Like, I just see a lot going on, and these modern women are very unfeminine. And
so these guys aren't going overseas. JD Black, are you suggesting you want men to join the military and I mean, do you realize that the military is about murdering other men and taking their stuff? It's sanctioned murder and theft. Also, you want to put these guys in danger by joining the military. To what? Get with these women who might be feminine?
There are problems. It's a problem. Like
I
when
see that a
you're
lot.
masculine and you want to, you want to compete with men, you want to get in the faces of men, you think you can fight a grown man, you think you can do similar things. Like
Women get in the faces of men, whether they're masculine or feminine. Show me any couple that the woman isn't getting on the guy's case. Maybe she's more dour in her nagging, but she's still in his face. That's what relationships are. Guy going his own way.
the open trying to, I can compete and beat you in competitions, I think is ruining women, because when it gets bad, like in the times of crisis and wars, a lot of these women are not going to step up. You know what I'm saying? Look at what's going on in Ukraine. Where are all these feminists and women? I can do it. Where are they at? Why y'all leaving your husbands behind? Why y'all leaving them so y'all can go somewhere else?
I agree with that. But how is this masculine? And how is the bullshit of them saying I can do what you can do, guys? I mean, that's hypocritical, but how is that being masculine? And what difference does it make? JD Black is right about this. He points out just what women do. They turn around and they run like, and by the way, JD Black, there are feminists there. Feminists do what they've always done, double standards.
I've seen I said in a live stream, I've seen a ton of women in them airports trying to get out of there. They're not trying to stay around and fight.
Trying to flee.
Yeah, they getting out of there. Women in mink coats and you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Done up. You can tell they got done up before they went to that airport. But what do you think about?
They got done up, so they're being feminine, right? So how does this fit your narrative of women being masculine? Right. The women become feminine as soon as they need to. They're doing up, they're making themselves look good to get out and probably appeal with their femininity. So if women are masculine to you, it just means they've dropped the mask.
Where a lot of modern women are, in your opinion?
Yeah, modern women, and again, it goes right back to what we were saying before with how they present themselves moving forward and showing themselves. It's exactly right back to the fact that we are those same people being toxic in our community.
And here's another thing. JD Black being MGTOW, does he not listen to other MGTOW channels? Because there's one MGTOW channel called Contempt where the guy talked about how it was technology that changed things around. That this has nothing to do with modern women. The modern landscape allows us to behave in the way we've always wanted to, at least the girls. So if girls are becoming unmasculine, it means this is what they've always been. The femininity is a mask.
Communities as women, quote unquote, trying to live in a male society. I understand it's complicated. Now we have, equal rights and all this stuff that we fight for. Mm-hmm. Yes, I understand where it comes from, where it stems from.
Okay, JD Black didn't call her out. Women don't fight for equal rights, and they've never fought for equal rights. When they fought for the vote, the male population got the vote by signing up for conscription. And the women who gained it in America in 1920, they didn't have to. They just demanded it. So there was never a time women fought for equal rights, ever. Life has always been unequal for men. So JD Black isn't calling her out.
The only thing is, I think we're fighting it incorrectly. And I don't think it's really a fight to be had. I think it's really just a lot of people that just want what they want, and they don't see that there's other things that come with it. If you want what a man has, you have to be able to take the brunt of everything a man gets and has to endure. So really think about what it is you're asking for. You know, be careful what you wish for, if you will.
This woman speaking sounds good on paper, but she's not. The reason she's talking to JD Black is that she is one of those women who've reached a point where they say, okay, I still don't want to be equal to men, so I'd rather take on the feminine role. That's all she's saying. She's still against equality. She's saying, I'm a good feminine woman. I don't want to have to deal with what men have to deal with. And if JD Black was worth his salt, he would say, well, that's too bad. JD Black would prefer a masculine woman, quote unquote, that would have to step up and deal with what men deal with.
So yeah, I don't think it makes sense at all. And feminism is a whole nother whole nother thing. But yeah, the masculine.
How's it a whole other thing if you believe that women are fighting for their rights? Wouldn't feminism be correct?
Masculinity is real, and just like you said, women are very, very triggered, and trust me, that's when you'll see the masculinity come out, is immediately as soon as you call it out on them.
Right.
And that it will come out full force. And you know,
so women raising their voices and getting angry is masculine. That's the masculinity. Come on.
they'll be throwing hands and gang signs and all different things.
It definitely will spaz out. I've seen it, man. They'll call you names like mammy and pick me. You know, they don't know what the meaning of a mammy is. Like, you know, that's not what a mammy is, right? And you want to be a pick me because a pick me is going to get a husband, not no friend with benefits or some married man you're sleeping with, right?
Jay, why are you talking about marriage when you're MGTOW? I thought you were going your own way. I told all you guys over and over again. One of the other guys pointed out, I'll remember his name, Kyrie, said, MGTOW are not going in their own way. They're men standing in the marriage line complaining. Why would, otherwise, it doesn't make any sense. JD Black is talking about marriage. Why does he care where the women get married to men? Because he's always wanted that. It bugs these guys that women aren't getting the fake I love yous.
That's the only place not trying to be a pick me is. Because trust me, that man's wife is a pick me.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, yeah, that does stem right back to the fact that they do it out of maybe slight jealousy for the fact that they're not pulling what they think they want to pull, and they think that masculinity, that aggressiveness is what's going to get them.
I don't think it's jealousy. The pick me is basically saying, these women are saying, hey, I'm dating guys and rinsing them, and I never have to deal with them. And you're actually getting yourself in a position as a married woman to have to deal with this guy 24/7. It's contempt. It's not jealousy, it's contempt.
What they're looking for, if they fight a little harder, if they give a little stronger, and that's not the approach at all.
Absolutely, I agree with that. But let me talk to you about the industry. Now, you work within the industry, right, doing makeup. We know that the programming of women of today and men as well is in the TV, movies, and music. Have you dealt in the industry with masculine, female, alpha female type behavior from women? Or
I do agree that there's propaganda, but the way men and women are behaving has nothing to do with the propaganda, though, really. Women deselecting men is something that has always gone on, and the only thing that's changed now is the girls they can show their open contempt. So there hasn't been training involved. There's just been a change in the environment that allows people to behave like they've always wanted to. Women, J.E., have always disrespected men. This woman here is pretending that she's respecting men. But what it is these quote unquote feminine women have realized they want a full-time provider, and that's it. So they're putting the face on.
Do you think that's more so women who are not exactly in your area?
Ooh, okay. So that touches on not only the women in the industry, but it also touches on, I guess, regional. So, like
Uh-huh.
where I am in Canada, we don't have that as much
Mm-hmm.
because I just spoke about this on a live stream.
Mm-hmm.
In our community, the industry is very, very fake. Whereas when I, cross the border in the US, they're more forthcoming. They
Right.
do let us know exactly what they're feeling. So that
Oh, okay.
alpha female comes out a little bit stronger. We
Uh,
have them here, but they'll be more fake about it. They'll coddle you a little bit with their words,
uh-huh.
meanwhile, really trying to curse you out nicely. So
Yeah, so she's saying she's Canadian. Okay, she's one of my group, and she's basically saying that the women up here are still quote unquote feminine. In other words, they're willing to put on the mask better than the Americans are. Okay.
when I have to deal with people like that, I just approach them differently, obviously. And but I have dealt with it. I have dealt with it, and it is a thing. It is very alive,
Wow.
and I think that's why I've survived for such a long span of time in this industry, is because I know how to handle people. So
Right.
luckily enough, yeah. But it is a thing, and I think, and again, it comes right back to community wise, Black women in this industry, they feel, I'm not going to speak for them, but
Notice people use the word community a lot. Community is, I'm sad to say, is something of the past. Modern technological, technological living means, just a dispersion. I have to say there's never been a community. Look, there's never been a community in the important way that women ditch their men. He admitted it. J.D. Black said, the women in Ukraine running away as soon as danger gets. So there is no community. Men are ditched. Men are only allowed to kind of hang around in social circles as long as women need them or feel they need them. And then they ditch them. And then these men, they don't form any communities. He's MGTOW, right? MGTOW don't form communities. So why does he talk about community? When they talk about community, what they mean is the women are willing to shack up with the men on a semi-permanent basis. That's what community means to men.
think they feel that they have to, again, fight a little harder to be seen, fight a little bit harder to get a role because there are less roles for them, especially here. So they feel they have to play the masculine role to get anywhere, and it does show up. It shows up a lot, and they don't know how to turn it off. There's no off button. There's no, okay, we're done, we're off the clock now, let's just relax. It's on all the time. So you just approach these people and you eventually are like, that's just them now. They've been on all this time. So that is where it stems for me anyways. That's been my experience.
Are they on all the time, or is they just naturally that aggressive? Maybe they're just mean people. Maybe they just demanding.
Okay. Well, let me ask you this, and then we'll move on to something else. Do you think it can be coached out of them? Because you have these female femininity coaches, who I chuckle at. Do you think they can teach femininity in the grown women? Okay.
Oh, that's a hard.
Why would you care? Jay, you're going your own way. You're not dealing with women anymore. Why would you care, again, whether they appeal to you in a feminine way?
Hard one. How? I mean, there's so many things that you have to, I don't want to say fix, but for lack of a better word, that you really need to fix to even bring out the femininity. So how would you fix that if there are other mental issues that are then blocking the fact that they don't even believe that they're not being feminine enough
Right.
to, that's a lot of work. That is a lot of work. And I don't think a relationship coach or any kind of basic coaching is just going to coach that out of something. I think
Masculine women will still attract a man. Look, if you took these masculine women and put them on like a dating app, men would still go after them. It might be fewer than the ones that are supposedly more appealing, but they'd still get dates. So they don't need to be feminine. And the fact that they deselect men shows they also don't need to be feminine. They don't have to put the mask on to be nice to men.
in Jamaica we say, like you can't bend a tree when it's grown. You can't. It's the
Right.
branch. It's just gonna break. So
Right.
better you just start from young.
I agree with that.
And start
I agree with
again.
that completely. You can't coach like. I just like I don't know. Are you giving them hope, because there is none for most of them. There really is none.
That sounds so negative, but oh my gosh, I sometimes I feel it. I'm like, how much would it take to get this person to even, and even when they realize they're wrong,
Mm-hmm.
they just won't bend.
Right.
I don't know. That's a hard one. And I hats off to anyone who thinks or feels or has succeeded in that, because wow, that's a lot.
Yeah.
Okay. They're not much saying anything beyond this now. Well, there you go. This is why, one of the reasons why I dropped that label, because I thought MGTOW was a community, which it wasn't. I thought there was going to be social and political change, which MGTOW are against. And it also shows the fakery of MGTOW, that guys who carry the label really are just trad cons that are angry that the girls are single and they're not selecting them anymore. This is just more living proof. Okay, that's enough for this. Goodbye, everyone.